Hey y'all, and thanks for joining in. We have a 2010 Dodge Ram 1500 with the 4.7. What I'm going to be doing today is going over how to change out the mode door actuator. This is the actuator that changes it from vents to defrost to feet. You have to first remove your battery. Well, remove the positive or negative side of your battery. Let it sit for about 5 minutes disconnected, because you want to make sure that your airbags that they get discharged, so you don't have any issues when you go to start pulling this piece for the dash and the radio. After it sits for about 5 minutes, what you want to do is, I open both doors because it's hot. We want to make sure you get a good cross breeze. You have this piece right here. It's the bezel that goes around your radio, around. Now this is your cup holders. I'll explain why you got to take those loose, but this bezel basically just pops in all the way around with these little bitty tabs. So you're just going to grab in the top corner and pull out, and it'll pop. Same thing right here on the passenger side. Pull out, it'll pop, and you work your way all the way down. Once that is removed, you have two they're Torx heads, and you have two 7mm. 7mm were here at the top for your glove box, or not the glove box, the cup holders, and then the two Torx heads were down at the bottom. So you'll remove those, which will be here, here. You'll have some right there on the top, here and here, there and there, and then there's two down at the bottom here. Kind of hard to see, but they're going to be Torx heads. Once that's done, you just move this out of the way. You can unplug everything. Now, you have two actuators here. One is your blend door actuator, and one is your mode door actuator. Now, this vehicle has just the single AC. It does not have the dual zone climate control. This one up here should be hot to cold. This one down here should be your mode 2 door actuator. What I did was I put the battery back on. I plugged everything back in while it was apart. And to confirm which one it was, I plugged the battery in, turned the key, and you heard this one down here just pop, 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 pop. As soon as you put your hand on it, you can feel it. That's going to be your mode 2 actuator. Like I said, this switches from bi-level to vent to defrost to floor. That one right there. So we're going to end up removing that. There's two Phillips head screws. One at the top right-hand corner and one down there at the bottom left-hand corner. We're going to pull that out, and we're going to replace it with this. They brought their own actuator. Let's see what it looks like. Here's your actuator. Now, what normally happens with these actuators, as you can tell, they're plastic. Well, inside here, there's little bitty plastic gears. And after a while, those plastic gears will get stripped out, and then it cannot pick up the little door that's in there that lets it switch. So it'll try to pick it up, and you'll hear it drop, and the door will slam, and you'll just hear click, 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 click. That's going to be this actuator. Well, like I said, you do have two actuators, here and here. I think there may actually even be a third one over here in the floorboard. I have to look it up, but the ones we're working on today are going to be your mode 2 door, or your mode 2 actuator for your HVAC, and that's going to control basically all your modes, like defrost, vents, all that good stuff. But we're going to pull this one out real quick and replace it. Then I'll plug the battery back on, make sure everything's blowing out the dash like it should, not just on your feet and not just out your defrost. But again, this is a 2010 Dodge Ram 1500. You want to pop off the bezel around the radio. You can see these long little places here are going to be where the tabs pop in and lock. Once you pull that out, You're going to have, like I said, 2 7mm and then 2 Torx head to take out the cup holder assembly. Once the cup holder assembly is out the way, it'll give you access to these 2 actuators. One's for the blend door, one should be your mode door actuator. And then, like I said, I would recommend checking it before you put it all back together to make sure you did the right one and that it's working. Because you may end up having to replace both, depending on what your problem is. But make sure y'all like and subscribe. Thanks.